Good evening, everyone. It's Modified Darvas Box, MDB here, coming at you with a quick week in review. The date is October 6th, and it's about 8:30 in the evening here on the East Coast in Miami. So, before we get into the week in review and some interesting names, for anybody who doesn't know who I am, basically I'm a regular guy who made an investing and trading system based on this book. Check it out on Amazon. It's a really good book. Um, what I do is I look for box patterns and I try and buy the ones that break out of them and either short or avoid the ones that make bearish patterns. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. I try to keep things really simple. All right, so let's do a quick week in review. It was a hell of a week. Who knew that bad news could be so good? So bad news. The what was it? The ISM manufacturing. Basically, it showed some pretty lousy readings. But every time you get bad news, that means the Fed may cut interest rates. So bad news equals good news because the Federal Reserve will cut interest rates, and that generally helps the economy and indirectly the stock market. So remember that bad news is bad until it's good. Got it? Great. All right. So the S&P 500, yeah, it was getting its ass kicked, going down. Then the bad news hits, and whoosh, giant rebound. The Nasdaq had the same thing, getting its butt kicked, and then whoosh, giant rebound. Honestly, you must be frustrated if you're completely, totally bearish. Shorts work, and then they don't work. Here's the Russell 2000. Went down, and the Russell broke downwards from the box, its Darvas box, which is seemingly going on forever sideways, and now it's right back into the box. The big difference between the S&P 500 versus the Russell is the S&P 500 is above the long-term weekly moving average. The Nasdaq is just shy of the long-term weekly moving average. Well, to have 2 out of the 3 big indexes close to there, basically it just increases the probability that long trades that you buy have a higher probability that they might work. When all 3 are below the moving averages, then the probabilities that long trades are not going to work, those probabilities increase quite a lot. I try and avoid doing long trades when they're below that moving average. It just gets so much harder. Things just don't work. So let's talk about stocks that had breakouts because everybody loves a breakout. Everybody loves stocks that are going up. And these are the textbook Darvas box breakouts, which I consider to be the big winners in the market right now. So the newest one, which also had a fantastic week on this rebound, is COUP. And this one, look at this. A month ago I was geeked out. Here's the big move. It's going up. Yay. Well, on this giant green volume, well, then it had a couple of big weeks of red volume as some institutions decided it was time to bail, get out, take the money, etc. Well, those institutions were wrong. Can you imagine how they must be feeling to have blown out big positions and now the stock is close to new highs again? It's a tough game we play here. But look at this. Stock is now back above the box. It had a hell of a week. Went from the 120s up to 148. That's just a hell of a week. It's awesome. I was a buyer in COUP as well. So I'm pretty excited about it. I'm hoping it can go to new highs. LULU. LULU is back on this list because it's back above the top edge of its Darvas box. It's missing big green volume, but because it had big green volume in the past, I put it back on the list. It still has potential to be a big winner. We'll just have to see how it plays out. SEDG, same deal. Had the big green volume breakout, came back into the box, but now it's moving back out of it. It's missing some big green volume, but that might not matter because, a couple weeks ago it had that. But again, this one's got a lot of potential to go higher. Remember, it's risk reward and probabilities. Let's see. Here's the other new big breakout, ZYXI. I honestly have never heard of this company. I found out about it through a volume scan. Here you see on the daily. Yeah, I saw it in this volume scan. I could care less. Stocks have big days all the time and don't do anything. Well, then it had another one, and I looked at it on the chart, and I saw it was breaking out. But again, I don't know this company, and I was too busy buying COUP to care really. And now on Friday, it had another big day. So this thing is clearly breaking out. But the problem is, I don't know a thing about this company. It's a little tiny company, and liquidity is low. I mean, only 1 million shares. That's not much. If I wanted to buy 50,000 shares of this thing, I could send it to the moon. But if something went wrong, oh my God, I'd never be able to get out. You'd probably see me barfing it out here at 5. It would be miserable. So these tiny little companies I tend to avoid. There's other reasons why I'm avoiding ZYXI. Unlike other people on the internet who only draw lines on charts and look at angles and it's all technical, I like to look at fundamentals like sales and earnings. So I download these analyst forecasts and I plug them into my spreadsheet here because I want to see what's the deal with this company. And you can see here earnings. I'm not too thrilled about this earnings profile. It did most recent quarter minus 14%, and the next 4 quarters are all negative growth. What the hell? What the heck is that? Well, I can see here that the reason why it's probably going up is sales growth. It does have green sales growth, and that's good. You can use that. This tells me that if I'm going to buy any shares of ZYXI, I need to focus on things that are related to sales. You know, is this company going to sell a lot more product? I don't friggin' know. But when I read the news, it'll all be from the viewpoint of view. Will this increase sales? Are sales going to go up? Sales, sales, sales. The other good thing about this is that its net margin, it's got a good net margin, so it retains a fair amount of every dollar that they sell. But the final problem is that these sales numbers are just really, really small. To do 10 million bucks in a quarter, that's nothing. That's tiny. So again, I'll pay attention to the stock. I'll keep it on my list, but I'm not going to be buying it. But taking this stuff into account will simply help you make better decisions whether you should buy it for your own portfolio. Should you trade it? Should you own it for a while? Yeah, maybe it's got a bright future. Maybe it goes up a ton. I don't know, but it's one that I've added to the list, only paying attention to. All right, let's look at stocks. Well, one last wrap here is I consider these stocks to be the best of the best in the market. Currently, only got 7. That's really small. So now when I look at stocks that are baking, and I refer to a stock that's in a sideways Darvas box as baking. So when I look at the list of stocks that are baking, okay, 25. That's decent. That's a market that's setting up, going sideways, not super bullish, but has potential to maybe have some new breakouts. But you know what? Not all sideways boxes are made the same. There's a question of where is it in relation to its long-term weekly moving average, and then what kind of action does it have within the box? Because you know what? Sometimes you might want to buy it when it's inside the box. I refer to that as a cheater entry because I'm cheating. Instead of buying it when it breaks out of the box, I'm cheating by buying it somewhere inside the box. I'm a terrible cheater. Sometimes cheating works and you get a great entry before something breaks out. Other times cheating doesn't work so good, and you regret ever clicking the buy button because you just got your butt kicked. Well, it's a double-edged sword. So how do we look at different things of what's going on inside boxes? Well, the way I do it is I'll judge the same way I always do, price and volume. AYX, huge winning stock, came down here on giant red volume. Now it's struggling to, get some momentum back again. Maybe it goes back up a ton, maybe it doesn't. But what's missing? Big green volume here. And it's still below the weekly moving average. Now let's contrast that one with a stock that got me really excited. I want to buy this one. Costco, Cost had big green volume here. It's in a sideways Darvas box, but look at that. It's above the weekly moving average. Big green volume here. Here's the daily. Why don't you want to buy it? I think this is a great looking buy, and I'm full up in other areas. But if I had the extra money, I'd add some of this. It's a good probability, risk reward. That's what this game's all about. Here's one ENPH. I like this one, but it's missing, big green volume. Where's that volume? I don't know. So I would book that as, it's got potential, but maybe lower probability. Here's another one to contrast. OKTA. This may have been the best stock of the last couple days. Huge, huge green volume here. Whoop. Yes, it's in a Darvas box, but it's got big green volume. Buyers are interested. And remember, my thing is if the big boys want it, then I want it. Well, this wasn't my grandma buying. This was big institutional investors. Let's see, a couple more to contrast, and then we'll wrap this up. Shop, yeah, got its butt kicked. Now it's come down, trying to bounce. Where are the buyers? Well, I don't know, but doesn't maybe it can go up more? I don't know, but I like to be amongst the crowd. Square, yeah, I was a buyer of Square last week. Square's now back in the Darvas box, and we'll see what happens. I was a buyer in the 57s, so to me this is a great long-term potential position. It's not the biggest position I've put on, but it's a good one because maybe it rebounds back to 80. And boy, if it goes to 80, maybe it goes to 100. Who knows? But it's not a bad spot. Good risk reward. Here's one I like. This last one here, Target. Okay, Target is missing the big green volume. I don't see it, but it's way above the weekly moving average and more attractive. It's got a real narrow box structure here, very tight range. I really like Target, TGT. I think this has potential to go higher, make more gains, but it's all probability. I don't know what's going to happen, but when you look at the stuff that's baking in boxes, I think it's got as good a chance as any. All right, well that's sort of the weekend review. Some things that stood out to me. Basically, we'll see whether this week is a good one or a bad one. I really don't know, but just watch your stocks and try and buy the good ones and avoid the bad ones. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, have a great week. Bye bye.